Rebecca, I sort of just got accustomed to hearing Five Eyes and understanding who was part of that, but all of a sudden we're hearing about the Quad. So who is it and what do they do?
It's an effort to exclude China by India, Japan, Australia, and the United States. So it's a grouping of those four countries to isolate China's interests in largely in the Indo-Pacific region. So why those countries? Because, as I said before, this is actually the United States trying to align interests around the South China Seas and the whole area around Taiwan and the Taiwan Straits. So it's an alliance of countries that have a very strong trade interest and a very strong military interest in that particular region. And it's just to start the process of creating almost a Western alliance against Chinese interests. And a lot of US policy is going to go through that. Interestingly, the UK is not part of that. And the pivot to Indochina is going to be a big thing for the UK government as well. But the UK is not part, so, and New Zealand isn't part, so it's not Five Eyes anymore, it's the Quad.
And so we are seeing a greater focus on the Indo-Pacific region. And Jack, do you see that as an attempt to, we discussed about the Quad as a means of isolating China, and is there, are there any opportunities for the US and China to work together on the world stage?
Yeah, well, I think working together is going to be fundamental to any approach taken towards China. And actually, that's also reflected in the United Kingdom's recent integrated review, where you have this interesting dichotomy between actually competing with China and also cooperating with China. And I think that's going to be reflected also in the United States' strategy towards China. You have this very, very interesting position that you find a lot of those, particularly Western states, in where they're slightly threatened by the rise of China, particularly their capabilities and possibly their intent as well. But also because of the fact that everything is sort of intertwined, interrelated in the modern era, you have no way of avoiding also cooperating with China. So finding that middle ground, finding a way to actually move forward constructively is going to be something that needs doing.
And if I could maybe come in on that, because Jack's absolutely right, this is a different form of relationships and foreign policy that's beginning to evolve, that we're seeing in this pivot to Indochina. So in one sense, it's about isolating things that are seen as a security threat, but it's also developing cooperation. I think the big area where this is going to happen is in sustainability. So in actual fact, in US-China relations, the thing that really needs to be thrashed out is actually around sustainability, because it's a top of a list of priorities for President Biden and his administration. It's top of a list of priorities in China, and obviously it's top of a list of priorities for the UK and the EU as well. So I think that's a big area, because China thinks in terms of the long game, right? So we're not thinking about strategy in 5 years' time, we're thinking about strategy in 500 years' time for China. China wants to make sure there is a planet. Everybody wants to make sure there is a planet in 500 years' time. So sustainability is going to be the big area of cooperation, I think.